So you already know that Yezdi is back. We've shown you all 3 motorcycles in our first look video. We're here today to ride all 3 of them. Am I looking forward to my day? Yeah, you bet. Am I surprised that Classic Legends has decided to add an ADV to its portfolio? Maybe not. It's far too important a segment today to ignore. But what's interesting though, that it has decided to add an ADV to the Yezdi product portfolio while resurrecting the name. And like I told you in my first look video, this machine, the Yezdi, the OG two-stroker, was based on a Czech motocross bike called the CZ250. So somewhere the brand has dirt in its DNA. And most of this new Yezdi Adventure looks like it can handle it too. But there's only one way to find out really. That's by hitting some trails. This industrial design the Yezdi Adventure tries to rock looks cool. Even the colors offer a nice vintage feel. Under the retro fuel tank and engine casing is modern hardware you'd want from an entry-level ADV. You even get more features you'd expect on a modern day motorcycle, like LED headlamps and tail lamps, LCD instrument console, handlebar mounted USB charging and Bluetooth connectivity too. That said, the 15-degree tilt feature on the instrument console is nice, but the LCD itself is hard to read in harsh light. Yes, the Himalayan finally gets a challenger, price for price, spec for spec. The Yezdi is more affordable than the Himalayan and is more powerful and lighter too. But there is a catch. Despite the 220mm ground clearance and ample suspension travel, the Yezdi Adventure has some rough edges. The problem lies in feel and feedback. I also felt the engine refinement can be better. Besides which, tweaking the suspension setup would offer more confidence, especially on the tricky stuff. I would have liked more grunt from the engine at low revs and slow speeds, since that's what the adventure bike is meant to do a lot of times. On the road, the engine feels a little stressed, with vibrations creeping in as you go higher up in the rev range. The 30.2 PS and 29.9 Nm are all there, but the current refinement levels make it difficult to extract the motor's full potential. Off Tarmac, the overall setup seems apt to take on trails, but the suspension feels a little too firm, affecting the overall composure. So you're left wrestling the handlebar to keep the 21-inch front wheel in check. And yes, I also wish the bike had serrated foot pegs, as they help matters in slush and muck. On tarmac, the suspension setup feels better, while the 320mm front and 240mm rear disc brakes from Biber offer enough bite. I'm also happy the Adventure has 3 ABS modes too, which works quite well in altering the system's intrusion. See, the thing is, on paper, the hardware the Adventure brings to the table is certainly interesting. It's a tried and tested format after all, but it's one thing to have the same credentials as your competition and a whole different challenge to iron out all the rough edges that Classic Legends will have to address in the years to come. But that's the thing though. At 2,09,000 rupees ex-showroom, this is certainly cheaper than its competition, which is the Royal Enfield Himalayan. And with all the accessories that they're giving us today, I think it's a very decent proposition and a very, very good place to start from. What I would have liked though is a little more bottom-end grunt for an ADV. It definitely feels like a good touring machine, but on dirt, I wish there was just that much more torque. This little Scrambler from Yezdis just knows how to put a smile on your face. It's got this classic retro bad boy look. It's very easy to vibe with. See, the thing with Scramblers is, back in the day, there were nothing but street bikes that you could take to your local workshop and you could just sort of do some light mods, put some off-road tires, and then it made your bike stand out in the crowd. And what it did most was it allowed you to do all sorts of mischief over the weekend. And that's what makes this platform so versatile and so much fun to actually go riding off-road or on-road or any day during the week. That's the amazing part of the Scrambler. And it's kind of high time that India got an accessible entry-level Scrambler, don't you think? The retro look is bold and fresh. In keeping with its name and the segment, the Scrambler is equipped with a monopod LCD display, a round, bright LED headlamp and tail lamp, and the handlebar mounted USB port too. Personally, I like the minimal look. While the wide handlebar and beak complement the Scrambler name very well, even the ribbed banana style seat is a nice touch. But overall fit and finish could certainly be a lot better. And the Scrambler also misses out on the Adventure's Bluetooth connectivity. What I also like is that the Scrambler feels very easy to ride from the word go. Yes, at 200 mm the ground clearance is 20 mm lesser than the Adventure, but is sufficient to thrash the bike around trails. The lesser wheel travel at both ends is not as noticeable off-road, unless you're two up or carrying some luggage. Jump it, slide it, thrash it, the entire package feels more than manageable off tarmac. The 1403 mm wheelbase really allows you to move on dirt, with a better sense of control too, adding to confidence especially when riding enthusiastically. But yet again, I was left wanting more from the engine. Yezdi says the torque curve on the Scrambler is progressive and more linear than the other two bikes. But like the Adventure, I felt the need for more bottom end grunt, and you have to rev the engine to extract more performance. Revising the gearing on the Adventure and Scrambler both should make a huge difference to both bikes though. And I feel it will be an easy fix as well. Engine refinement needs a bump up as well, especially for highway riding. Triple digit speeds feel like the motor is having to try too hard to meet your demands, and the engine mapping probably needs to be revised, especially given that this is a 29 PS motorcycle. What I do like a lot is the bite and progressive feel from the biber brakes and also the ABS modes. I'm really glad that Yezdi family includes a Scrambler too. Classic Legends has a good starting point to work with. As a company, if it improves this model periodically with feedback from riders, I think the Scrambler has potential to make it big in India. Think about it. This is essentially the jack of many trades. Okay, so I'm going to level with you here, right? You've seen the Adventure, you've seen the Scrambler, and you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, I get it. Yezdi's back, you want to go on a road trip, you want to have an adventure, but all they're giving me is an off-road motorcycle. That's the thing though. Adventures do not have to be so polarized. There's an ADV and then there's an adventure. Adventures are something for yourself. It's so personal. It's meant for fulfillment. And for all you road warriors out there, presenting the Yezdi Roadster. Finally, we arrive at the Roadrunner in Yezdi's new lineup. When the dust settles from all that off-road talk, the Roadster steps into the scene. With a more distinctly retro design, the Roadster looks ready to join the ranks of modern retro machines like the Royal Enfield Classic 350, Honda Highness CB350, or even its own cousins from the Jawa family. While most modern features are as standard, the handlebar mounted USB unit and Bluetooth connectivity are given a miss here. I wish they hadn't done that, as those are vital features for buyers in the segment today. So, a bit of a miss there. But what I like the most is how the same 334cc engine is tuned on the Roadster. The engine feels a lot more relaxed and communicative as compared to its siblings. The 29.7 PS and 29 Nm feel well spaced out across the power band. But again, some more bottom end grunt for those crawling city speeds would be welcome. The 1440 mm wheelbase does allow the bike to sit planted on the road, while the 790 mm seat height makes it comfortable and approachable. Most of the weight feels low, helping in making the bike nimble, and the directional changes are quick. Sure, the ground clearance is just 175 mm, but unless you're two up and on the heavier side, the Roadster handles rough roads fairly well. Alright, so if you are planning on buying the Yezdi Roadster, I see you winning on two fronts. This is a retro modern design, and this design calls out to quite a few people, right? Your friends are going to love it. You're probably going to have a lot more Parsi friends than before.
And people are definitely going to stop you on the road and want to maybe know more about this motorcycle. It looks properly beautiful and has a certain presence on the road. But the second most important win that I feel that you get with a motorcycle like this has to be from the form and function that it brings to the table. It's such a simple motorcycle to live with. It's something that you can take out every single day and then just head out on the highway for a nice spin and just have an adventure of your own. And at 1.98 lakhs, this is not only the most accessible Yezdi you can get from this lineup, but it's also one with the most Yezdi looking appeal.
I must add though, the radiator fan on all three bikes kicked in even after the shorter sprints, and the heat management could be better, while positioning of the coolant storage itself might need to be revised, especially on the Adventure. Overall build quality could also be worked on to offer a more premium feel, but I'm glad Yezdi went the extra mile and decided to offer us 3 distinct models and not just one throwback. The platforms are here. I say that's a positive step forward.
It's been a very long but interesting day today. I like how Yezdi's been able to bring 3 distinct flavors to the retro motorcycling scene. Sure, there are things that they could improve upon, but in essence, I like the platform that they have to offer today. 3 Yezdis. Your pick. You let us know which one you like in the comments below. This is Ishan from Turbocharged signing off.